Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final round of the SEAT Indian Supercross Racing League. And this is the decider in the 250cc international class. Retailer of Big Rock Motorsport is your championship leader heading into this round. But Hugo Manzato has been clawing it all the way back. He got a big win in the first Moto earlier on today. And this is going to be important for him to be able to finish in style. Well, it's not going to be 6 out of 6 for Retailer anymore, that is quite clear. And his 100% record has been broken down, unfortunately for him. But it is interesting to see more competition because in that last race, Hugo Manzato, Enzo Police and Clément Briat, the 3 French riders were able to put in such a show. We've not seen them perform to that level so far this season. And there's a fun saying in Hindi, right, which is "De ride durust hai," which basically means even though if it comes late, it's good that it's finally a right. And it's good to see that happening for all these riders as well.
Yeah, and look, it's also good to see that Reed Taylor is human. He can make a mistake as well. Because look, he was staring down the barrel of a perfect scorecard of 6 out of 6 wins. So a 4th place at that last race, can he rebound, bounce back now and finish off his championship bid with a win here and stamp his authority? We're about to find out.
And there are so many Retailer and so many Big Rock Motorsport fans out here in Bangalore as they celebrate their home race in front of a sold-out crowd in Bangalore here. And now for the 250cc international class, we're only a few odd seconds away from the race beginning. 15 seconds left to go for the final race in the 250cc international class. The gates are dropped. Off we go for the final race in this category. And it seems to be a chaotic start all the way through. It seems that the number 77 of Brendan Sippel has taken the lead for Rise Motorsport. But behind, there is action, there is madness, there is pandemonium everywhere.
Hugo Manzato in 2nd place right off the bat. Now, that could spell disaster for the rest of the field.
And watch him go already. Hugo Manzato aboard that number 965 SG Speed Racers bike is already on a mission. He does not want to wait to get the lead even for a couple of laps. He wants it now, and he gets it. Hugo Manzato for the SG Speed Racers team has moved up into P1. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Retailer is now in 2nd. Bring it on. We've been waiting for this battle since round 1 in Pune. Hugo Manzato versus Retailer. When they go head-to-head, they make a show happen. And finally, we get to see them go head-to-head, toe-to-toe with each other, Lee.
Now, let's have a look at the replay here, Samil. This is the pass for the lead.
And what a smartly executed move that was. Nailed it to perfection by Hugo Manzato. It's kind of like Brendan Sippel left the door a little bit open because he knew that Hugo would be faster. But again, Hugo taking it with both hands and not letting it go. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is where the fun really begins. Because if you thought that the start was chaotic, well, I get a feeling that it's going to be even more crazy right now. Because Reed Taylor, the leader of this championship, the young 20-year-old who's been dominating things from the very first practice session, not even the race, the very first practice session of this championship is now on the back of Hugo Manzato as we see Brendan Sippel being awarded the SEAT pole shot for an incredible getaway. But what this does do right now, Khalid, is finally put up that fight that we've been waiting to see for quite a while. And we have seen Hugo Manzato and Retailer fight it out in the timing sheets, but never properly head-to-head on track. At last, we get to see it happen.
A little bit of a gap between 1st and 2nd, but I think what Reed Taylor needs to do here, he needs to stay smart. He can't afford to get involved in some kind of a battle that could potentially put him on the ground, shall we say.
Yeah, he needs to be learning from his mentor, Matt Moss of Big Rock Motorsport, who when he was leading the championship early on today in that first Moto for the 450cc Internationals, he let his main drivers go past because he didn't need to finish ahead of him to maintain the championship lead. That is what experience is all about. And Reed Taylor, even though he might be only 20, even though he's only competing this first full season of international motorsport, he would have been told this by his mentor Matt Moss. And what a mentor it is to have, right? A 9-time Australian Supercross champion telling you all about racing. And importantly as well, in this week leading up to this race, Reed Taylor was actually spending time with Cedric Supercross, a rider who's one of the finest ones internationally. What kind of stuff can you learn as a 20-year-old from riders like these?
Well, what an amazing experience that would have been. As we see, a rider's gone down, number 66, that's Alex Orta out of Spain.
Yep, the young 15-year-old unfortunately going down for Rise Motorsport, having a major crash. Hopefully he is okay, and here's a look at what went down. And he just lost it at the berm rather randomly. Sometimes you can lose control there when you're not quite really 100% comfortable with the bike. And that's what happened for Alex Orta, who, by the way, has been phenomenal this year. For a young 15-year-old who can barely even speak English, the kid is doing a phenomenal job, so we've got to give him credits for that. But on to Reed Taylor, he's not able to close up to Hugo Manzato now.
Look, I think he's purposely leaving a little bit of a gap. Another rider there, 418 Tanner Gandy. He's out of the USA and he's a fill-in rider for this round. Let's hope he hasn't hurt himself.
Yep, exactly. When Supercross riders go down, there is always that feeling, are they okay? Because the riders, they might not be riding at the fastest speed. Of course, it's dirt, you can't go that fast on dirt, especially when there are obstacles like we have right here, like these really challenging whoops. But it's the momentum you carry, and when you fall down, Lee, you might know, this hurts, does it not?
Oh, it sure does, but let me tell you, I think this is shall we say, a strategic race for Reed Taylor back there in second place. There's a little bit of a gap now, but he knows what he's doing. He's trying to wrap this up. He's got his own championship that he needs to wrap up. He's also thinking of Big Rock Motorsports.
And that is the important thing for him as well. Remember, we are competing in the world's first ever franchise-based Supercross Racing League. And normally in the world of Supercross, the riders will just be fighting against each other for themselves, but not so much at the Seat Indian Supercross Racing League, because here, the team's championship really matters. And this is interesting, right? In the dynamic of a Supercross racer, being selfish is something that naturally comes in because you have to be. If you're not selfish, you probably might not reach the very pinnacle of the sport. But what is interesting now is that Reed Taylor is playing the team game very well. And his teammate as well, which would be Caleb Goulet, is also scoring a decent bit of points at me right now. So Big Rock Motorsport going in very happy.
Yeah, Reed Taylor is thinking of the end game here for sure. But what a way for Hugo Manzato and, of course, the SG Speed Racers, for them to wrap up the end of the championship here at Bengaluru with such a fantastic race win. An awesome job.
Yep, indeed. And for the SG Speed Racers, who you are watching right now, courtesy of Hugo Manzato on that number 965 bike, it's going to be only their second win of the season. That is amazing. In this class, of course, that is. And for SG Speed Racers, they've not been the top team. They've not been having all their riders perform quite like Big Rock Motorsport has. But it's incredible to see that when the stakes are high, when you really need a big performance, Hugo Manzato and the crew are putting in a proper shift. And that's the kind of stuff you want to see from all the teams as well. Delivering on the key moments. And importantly, we have the timer running out, which means that only 2 more laps are left to go in this race.
Now, I just need to give some props to Nick Laurie, the rider out of the USA, number 226. Now, he's riding for BB Racing. This is by far the best ride that we've seen from him.
And also, a word on Andrea Bonifacio in P6. Andrea literally arrived in India yesterday afternoon. He hasn't even tested the bike. He just got on early this morning, did a couple of test runs at a small dirt park that we have nearby, and said, okay, that'll do, I'll go racing. And he finds himself up in P6. Andrea is such an incredible character. But now, only 1 more lap left to go for Hugo Manzato. And with this, it's going to be the last lap of the season for the 250cc international category as well. Remember, we have a couple of more races left to go. The 250cc, the 450cc international, and also the All-Stars race. But let's talk about these riders here.
Now, as the last lap board has come out, Sunil, we can't understate the heat here. These riders, they've had to deal with nighttime races for the first 2 rounds. They've come out here for the 3rd and final round in daytime, and man, is it hot here in Bengaluru. I'm going to say we're talking 36 degrees out there. So this has put these riders through their paces.
And the riders absolutely having no break whatsoever. There's a big moment for Hugo Manzato, almost losing it in the final couple of corners in this race. Well, he almost might have crashed out, but it does not matter to him anymore. Manzato firmly under control. He crosses the final corner and he's going to be smiling in here. A double win for Hugo Manzato of for SG Speed Racers. But behind him, we have a champion. A young 20-year-old in Reed Taylor has done it again. Reed Taylor finishing second for Big Rock Motorsport. But in the championship, the 20-year-old, that's right, a 20-year-old who legally cannot even drink in this country, has beaten riders who are 5, 6, 7, 8 years old older than him, and has gone up there and has smashed it. Reed Taylor is your inaugural 250cc international champion at just 20 in his first season of international racing. This kid, Lee, this kid is special.
Well, I tell you what, I was loving the sportsmanship between Hugo Manzardo and Reed Taylor. What a way for Manzardo to finish the series, but Reed Taylor to be crowned champion. Let's take a look at these fantastic highlights.
There was chaos everywhere from the very first minute. We saw Brendan Sipple of Rise Motorsport get his first see-at-hold shot of the entire season, and eventually he was able to come home with a finish of P7. But in the background, there was so much chaos. Reed Taylor didn't get the best of starts. Hugo Manzardo certainly did. He got on the inside line of Brendan Sipple and made it work to perfection. And once he got hold of the lead, never let it go. Reed Taylor in the background also got P2 very quickly for Big Rock Motorsport in that Kawasaki. But importantly, he wasn't pushing as hard, was he?
No, he didn't seem to be. But to wrap it up, Samil, I would have to say, what an aggressive race from Hugo Manzardo, but a cool, calm and calculated race from Reed Taylor.
And how much do you like to see this from this young kid? Because normally 20-year-olds can be very rowdy, can be very rash, can be very mindless, to put it that way. I like to see, as we saw, a big crash right there. That was Tanner Gandy, unfortunately. But I like that Reed Taylor as a 20-year-old has the maturity of a 40-year-old rider, because normally 20-year-olds aren't that smart. They'll always go all out. And Hugo Manzardo, by the way, winning this big race for himself, a double win for him.
Yeah, great replay there of the fantastic win from Hugo Manzardo. But get back to what you were saying, it shows maturity from Reed Taylor. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. First place, Reed Taylor, 110 points, dominating form. Hugo Manzardo, second place with 95, and Enzo Pelias back there with 80 points in third place for the Gujarat Trailblazers.
And crucially, tons and tons of points being added on for the Gujarat Trailblazers by Clemo Briat as well. And of course, a tough race for Alex Teixeira-Zorta for Rise Motorsports, as he is P9 in the championship. But we have a champion in the 250cc international class. It is Reed Taylor with a big win for the entire class for Big Rock Motorsport. But in the end, Hugo Manzardo won for the SG Speed Racers. But one more class is left to go. Folks, we'll be back with the 450cc international and also the All-Stars race after a short break. Stay right here.